Hi, it's Jodi. I haven't made a video in a while and I had some stuff to talk about, and I wanted to give you some information, background information on an art piece. I just posted like a week ago how great I was doing with no seizures and everything, and I was finally getting my life back. And then 2 days ago I had a seizure, and it was a pretty scary one. I don't think it qualifies as a complete grand mal because I wasn't unconscious the entire time. It was kind of like 50-50. It was kind of like half the worst seizure I've ever had and half not the worst seizure I've ever had. Normally I either have focal awares where I'm awake and I know what's going on and I'm like can't make words, and those ones used to scare me worse because I was awake during them. Or I'd have the kind where I was completely unconscious and then I was seizing, and then I was like doing the sleepwalking thing for like 40 minutes where everyone else thinks you're awake but you're not awake and you're not making sense, and it's like basically the best way to describe it is like you're sleepwalking. And then you finally wake up and you find out all the weird things you did after you had this horrible seizure and injuries and all the things. The one I had 2 days ago was really weird because the last thing I remember was laying in bed watching a video, and then the next thing I knew, I was waking up, choking, gasping for air, finally got a deep breath, and then felt this weird sensation go down my arms to my elbows. It was like hot pain going down to my elbows. And then I was kind of laying like on my side, kind of crunched up on bed, the way I sleep, except I didn't have my CPAP mask on. So obviously I wasn't planning on going to sleep. I was laying there getting ready to go to sleep, and my hand hurt so bad, like it was crunched, like it must have been seized and during the whole thing, and like it hurt so bad. And that was the first thing I remember. I was very, very confused. It took me like, I don't know, the whole evening to like piece things together and I was completely in denial that I had a seizure. I'm like, this can't be a seizure. This can't be a seizure because I can't reset my timers. It would devastate me. So it took me 2 days to finally reset my timers. But yeah, it's my life. It's a thing. So anyway, today I felt like posting on Facebook that you know, never mind what I said last week because now I just had one and had to reset the timer. But I shared an art piece that I don't think I've shared publicly. I'm not even sure. I pretty much used to share my art on Instagram, and then like Facebook was just for like friends, and then YouTube is where I put like long form video content. So I have some people that follow me on all three. I have some people that only follow me on YouTube because they just want to hear the long videos. I have people that only follow the Instagram because all I care about is my art. And then Facebook is like all the people that have always been friends with me at some point, and they're just nosy about my life. So I posted the update. That reminds me, I should do a post on YouTube too about it. But I had posted the update on my Facebook, and I put a new piece of art in my app where I track how long it's been, my timer app. And I thought, you know, it's such an interesting piece. I should talk about it. She doesn't have a name. I kind of usually think of her as blue-haired girl. But I have not given this piece an actual, like, purposeful, you know, this is the name of the piece. It's part of a collection that I'm doing based on my epilepsy. I've had this idea for years now, and I have like 5 different pieces I've been working on and plans for 5 more. That each hits a different piece of the epilepsy journey, and one of them is going to be a statue. It's this really cool human-sized statue. But I have so many ideas, and I've been saving so many things to make these art pieces. But this one in particular reminds me of a very specific point in my journey where she was never supposed to have a white face. It was supposed to be, I had this idea to do a series of faces a long time ago, and I never did. And I thought, you love faces. How fun would it be to just make a bunch of crazy, fun, colorful faces and just have that be a series? And I was finally doing it, and I think it was in 2024. And at the end of 2024, I think I was still having seizures, but we thought we were starting to get it dialed in. I had tests and things, and we were trying different meds, and we thought we were getting it dialed in, but I got back on a medicine combination that had worked really well. The only problem was one of the meds is notorious for giving you glaucoma. And when you go see an eye doctor and you tell them you're on this drug and you're getting your eyes checked because of the problems it can cause, it does very specific things to specific vessels. It's not like the doctor will tell you, like, it's not the same as when you get glaucoma just because you're old or because you have like a certain illness or something. It's a very specific glaucoma you get from this drug. And so it's recommended that you get your eyes checked regularly. Unfortunately, I had gotten back on it because I knew it worked really well. These two drugs as a cocktail worked extremely well for keeping my seizures under control. But I knew my vision was getting worse and I had to get it checked. So I went to a doctor and they started giving me eye drops. Their answer was, well, stay on the meds if that's what your doctor wants you on, and we'll give you eye drops to try to control the glaucoma. And they had me try 5 different eye drops. One of the eye drops they gave me, I actually woke up one day and I was completely blind. Could not see. Like, I'm laying in my bed, I wake up and, like you wake up in the morning, and I open my eyes and it's like white. I mean, like white as a sheet of paper. And I kept blinking and I'm like rubbing my eyes and it's just white, like this light above me. And I started screaming for Wyatt. I just started screaming, like, oh my God, And we went to the ER, and by the time we got there, it was starting to become sheer, where I could almost kind of see, but it was not really, though. I can't even explain it. It was so strange. And the ER didn't take it seriously at all as like part of this medicine, or like they're just like, oh, it's just an aura migraine, they call them, or something. You'll see fine, in a couple hours, relax. I felt like they didn't take it seriously. And I was terrified that I was blind permanently from these eye drops. It was horrifying. I mean, I've been through a lot of stuff. There's so much people don't know about injuries and side effects from medication and horrifying things I have been through. I have woken up in restaurants on the floor with a roll of paper towels under my head because we sat in a booth and went to order lunch, and the next thing I remember, I'm on the floor because I had a seizure in a restaurant. I have been through, one time I seized and my head was banging I fell out of bed and seizing, and my head was banging into the foot of a rocker. You know how rocking chairs are they have the 4 legs like a regular chair, but then they have the rocking part that goes like this and it sticks out, and my eyeball was banging on that as I seized, and I looked like I was beat up in a back alley for 3 weeks. And that night I had to go to 2 different ERs because the first one wasn't confident enough that I wasn't going to lose my eye, and they sent me to a second ER 40 minutes further from the house, where there was an ophthalmologist who could for sure tell me that I wasn't going to lose my eye. I've been through so many things. Oh my God. It's insane. But this one morning, I was going to the doctor every single week for him to check my eyes. On top of all these other appointments I had, I was going to the doctor every week. And I tried these drugs, and the timing of it too. It was the timing of it. It was November of 2024, and it was one of the worst weeks of our lives. Everybody has times where you have big moments, finding out you have an illness, or somebody dies, or this was a week where on Monday I found out I had full-blown diabetes on top of everything else. Tuesday or Wednesday, I think Tuesday, I had a family member lose a baby really far into the pregnancy. Way past normal, it's a miscarriage. The baby died and passed, really far in the pregnancy. That same day that I got that news from that family member, my partner almost died. The car was totaled because there was a tree, and the car in front of them, saw it in time, and they almost didn't, or they didn't, and I think they didn't, and they ended up going into the tree at the last minute. And thank God they were okay, but because airbags deployed, the car was totaled. Now this is all the same week, like those two things were the same day, and then this is now Friday of that week. So Monday I found out I had full-blown diabetes. Tuesday we had horrible news from a family member. The same day our car was totaled and I almost lost my partner. He could have died. And then Friday morning I wake up totally dead blind. And the next week something else happened on Monday. I can't even remember. Like it was horrible. It was like a week and a half, like where like you didn't have time to recover from one thing before you found out the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it's like, that was November of 2024. And I remember sometime in the middle of that chaos after being blind, like the next week, I finally had a chance to sit down, and I had this girl like painted up to the face, and I finally put eyes on her and finally put a mouth on her. Wasn't happy with the mouth. I felt like the mouth was too big and too wide. And I just took one look at her, and I was just like so fucking mad that we had so much going on, and I just still had to deal with these eye drops and going to the doctor, and I went blind, and I'm like, how much more do we have to take? Like, I literally went blind. And I put her on the table, and I just whited out everything except her eyes, and I redid her nose over the white, and I just totally X'd out her eyes and put bloody drops coming out of the eyes. And she has been like this since November of 2024. Oh, I know. It was Thanksgiving time. It was the week before Thanksgiving. Like the Monday that I found out I had diabetes was not the Monday of Thanksgiving week. It was the week before. And so we had something happen Monday, something happened Tuesday and Wednesday, something else happened on Friday, woke up blind, and the next week on Thanksgiving week, Monday, something else happened. And now we're like it was right before Thanksgiving, and I was supposed to be grateful because it was Thanksgiving and it's a day of gratitude. And I was like, you know what? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. So maybe it's blind blue hair. I don't know, but I thought, you know what, this is it. She's going in the epilepsy collection. Because she symbolizes, she'll never be sold. She symbolizes something that I've been through in my epilepsy journey. And so many things that I've gone through that I'm making pieces of art about. And I'm building this collection, and I have this vision of it someday being in a museum. Or, like, I remember going to a modern art museum, and I remember going to a modern art museum and seeing, like for a time they had this exhibit in this hall, and it was on this topic, and it was this one artist, and the whole room was her different art from the series, and it was there for like 6 weeks or something. And I remember thinking, how cool is that? Like, you could just have like a series that you didn't necessarily plan on selling, or maybe you did, but it was a series that had one main theme, and it would just be shown for a while. And I got this vision to do this series about my epilepsy and all these different pieces that were specifically part of that series pertaining to my epilepsy. And I picture it someday being in museums or art galleries or something as like a traveling show that I would go and talk about, to bring awareness that it's so much more than seizures. It is so much. The seizures themselves are scary and they're horrible. I slept 12 hours yesterday. And this week, I know, like, part of it was I have severe dehydration right now, and I have like 5 different people I love are going through horrific things, and the stress of worrying about everybody. And it was a big reminder that no matter what is going on, I have to worry about myself first. But there's so much the public doesn't understand about epilepsy. Even families of people, I'm on so many support groups, and even families of people who have epilepsy don't understand how much like we have to do things a certain way because we know this will trigger us, or we know we don't remember, so we have to do things a certain way so that we remember to take our pills on time. I have, like, another idea I've had is to make a whole nother channel about epilepsy. And I have ideas for 100 videos already. I have a list of all the topics I would cover that would help people with epilepsy and their families understand, like, this is something that can help you with this. Did you know that this happens? Do you know there's this? Like, just a total awareness and support channel with all these different videos that I could make about different parts of the journey that people don't know because it's too much to talk about. But I feel really good when I have a piece like this that I can look at and feel like this is a permanent piece that validates that experience. It happened to me, and I let it out on the canvas, and it will forever be a part of my epilepsy journey. Every time I look at it, it will remind me that I survived this too. I survived waking up blind just 4 days after I found out I had diabetes, on top of everything else. Like, it just, art is validating. Art is validating. It's emotions let out on a canvas. She is so special to me, and she inspires me to make the faces I always meant to make and put out there. She inspires me to finish working on the rest of my epilepsy pieces. She inspires me to keep talking about the art, talking about the epilepsy, talking about my life and how having epilepsy, it came into my life at the exact same time I started painting, and that is intertwined. I can't talk about one without talking about the other. It's just where it's at. So anyway, I'm here. I'm still me. I'm doing fine. I'm actually, ironically, technically, I'm healthier than I've ever been because I've been eating so clean for so long. I am walking more and exercising regularly more now than I ever have probably in my life. Other than when I had to walk at work. When I was an overnight duty manager at hotels, I walked nonstop all night long to cover all my area. But I walk a lot now. I don't walk as far at once, but I walk consistently more than I ever have since I had a job 10 years ago. So I take that back. When we were at the campground and we had a dog, we had to walk 5 times a day. That was pretty darn consistent. That was probably the last time I walked this consistently. But yeah, it's been that long. So it's been like at least 5 years since I've walked this consistently. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really making so many great improvements, even though I apparently am having breakthrough seizures. They call them breakthrough seizures when you've been medicine controlled for a while and then all of a sudden you start having a seizure. When you were considered kind of under control. It's called a breakthrough seizure. So probably when I talk to my doctor, we'll end up upping my meds or changing my protocol. Hopefully we'll just up dosage on one of my meds. But maybe not, since I know what caused it. I think I know what caused it. We'll see. But if anything, I would just ask that keep me in your thoughts. Believe good health for me. And thank you. If you watched this far, it's been a while since I made a video this long. If you actually stayed with me and watched this far, please leave a comment and leave a purple heart for epilepsy. And I love you and thank you so much. I'm actually going to post this one. I posted 3 other videos. I made 3 other videos in the last 2 weeks that never got posted. And when I went back to watch them a week later, they were like, it's irrelevant. But I'm going to actually post this one. Might even get a few reels out of it. Who knows? But if you actually watch 19 minutes and 30 seconds, please at least leave a purple heart. Thank you. I love you.